Welcome to Learn Jazz Drums. Today's lesson is about elevating a solo by switching cymbals. So a lot of times when you learn to play jazz, this is your ride cymbal. And that's great. And there's a lot of jazz drummers out there that I listen to that sound amazing, a lot throughout history that I absolutely love listening to, who treat this as the only ride cymbal. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It sounds amazing. They have an amazing feel to where you could listen to that cymbal all day long. But another concept that you could consider is elevating a solo by changing up cymbals. So maybe, for instance, this is my riveted cymbal. Some people have their riveted cymbal over here. But maybe since this is my rivet cymbal and it's a little lower, maybe I start out the solo on this cymbal. It's a 20-inch cymbal, and this is my pretty normal setup. And so maybe I start on the 20-inch cymbal, and then the second chorus I move to this cymbal, and then I do the Jeff Hamilton, Mel Lewis thing by going to the China cymbal when it's really starting to get hot. So let's just pretend this is an 8-bar form, and they're going to play 3 choruses at 8 bars each, because if I played 32 bars 3 times, you get really bored watching this video. But here we go. 1, 2, 2, 3. My comping was probably a little bit busy to start out a soloist, but since I was doing an example of what would have been an elongated form, I think it probably makes sense. But you can see how I started here and it sounded good. It was good time for a soloist to play behind. And then I moved here and it kind of had this vibe of like, now we're getting down to business. And then when I moved to the China cymbal, it was like, we're really going for it. We're really swinging. So this is just a simple thing that you can do, and you need to make sure that all of your cymbals sound good when you do that. Again, as I mentioned, a lot of people prefer to have just a ride cymbal and maybe a smaller crash here and only use this as a crash, but this is just another concept that you can use. And as I've mentioned in other videos, don't forget the hi-hat as well. It's actually really fun to ride on the hi-hat in 4. The hi-hat is kind of like its own riveted cymbal, but it creates a lot more tension because it's not the normal thing. Especially at, say, a fast tempo, you can hear Tony Williams doing that, where he rides on this for a while and creates a lot of tension to where you're just like, when's he going to go to the cymbal? And then he finally does, and it's amazing. So those are some tricks to elevate a solo that you're playing behind, and it's literally just changing cymbals. Depending on the texture of your cymbals and the tonality of them, this is something you'll figure out over time, what's a good order to do it in, or maybe you start here and then you know that if you've started here that it kind of doesn't work to go back to this cymbal, or you'll figure it all out, and every musical scenario is going to have its own situation, and there's probably a million possibilities you can come up with, but you're only going to know for your own cymbals and your own sound what is going to be right. So just experiment with that. Maybe if it's a solo that's hot right out of the gate, I'll start on the China cymbal. I can't picture myself going back to the hi-hat, but on a gig, maybe I'll try it out because maybe it could be cool, and you don't know until you try it. So to close out with, I'll just play 8 bars of each, and you can just hear how different they all sound. I'll do kind of the same comping, but I'll just show you how they each have a different vibe. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. And thanks for watching. Per usual, make sure to hit that like button if you appreciated it, and also subscribe to this channel because I come out with a brand new video lesson every single week. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next video.